You are listening to Theoretical Insights of D&D.
Lord, give me a fireball!
Screw how hot your skin is, my bars are hotter. Let me tell you what this is. Let me tell you, you listeners, if you don't know what the zombie has packing in his decaying flesh, you shut up, cancer bones. You gonna be a zombie if that cancer doesn't get cured.
Hey guys, I'm Rob.
And I'm Eric.
Welcome back to another episode of Theoretical Insights of D&D, and today we are covering our top monsters or creatures for CR13. And you guessed it, once more coming back is a new and improved celebrity list. Well, kind of a celebrity list.
It's a
Anyway.
list.
It's a list. There's some celebrities on there, and there's some human pieces of garbage as well. So to get that started, at number 1, we have Dan Schneider for well-known reasons.
Yeah, and some new reasons.
Yeah,
Well, same reasons, but
God be with Amanda Bynes and Jeanette
Yes.
McCurdy and all those that he has. Yeah. Well, number 2, Pickle Boy, because I'm not even going to bother mentioning his actual name.
you might have to say his name for some people.
Well, I don't know his name, so just think Pickle Boy from all that, and
Yeah.
you'll know who I'm talking about. If you've seen All Quiet on Set or Quiet on the Set, where Drake Bell is telling his story, you'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, you'll know.
Number 3, Jake Paul, because he had the gall to call out Mike Tyson. And I'll go ahead and tell you this much. I'll be completely honest. You can say what you want. Mike Tyson loses that fight, it's rigged.
It's rigged, yeah.
I mean, it's already going to be rigged. They're not going to let Jake get hurt. But, because
I want to see
Jake.
Tyson bite his ear off.
Did you see the video that Jake posted about he had a face tattoo like Tyson, and then he was holding a silicone ear in his mouth?
I haven't
It's
seen that.
disrespectful. It's funny. I'll take it. It's funny. At number 4, homeowners associations.
The bane of society right
Because
there.
I'll be dadgum if you're going to tell me what I can and can't have on a house that I paid to have built, and then try to sell it out from underneath me.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. I wish they'd
There's
be
things like everybody keeping their grass cut like the same length. Stuff like that I can understand. But then they take it too far.
No, they take it a whole lot further than grass length.
Yeah.
At number 5, David Bradley. Now, for those of you that don't know who that is, Filch from Harry Potter with the greatest run in cinematic history.
Yes.
Along with, I cannot remember the character's name that he played, but he played in like season 1 or 2 of Game of Thrones. He played one of those, one of the rulers of a faraway land that the mother of the Miss Stark went and talked to.
You don't know one of my favorite characters he's played? The old guy in Hot Fuzz. With all the weapons.
I forgot he was in that, dude.
That was great.
That was a great movie.
That is a great movie.
Number 6, Mark Williams. Also, for those of you that don't know who that is, Arthur Weasley. And he played, God, what were the 2 names of the guys that chased down the 101 Dalmatians?
Oh.
Because it was him and Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arthur Weasley and Dr. House chased down a bunch of puppies for Cruella de Vil.
Lord,
I can't remember their names.
I've watched that movie I don't know how many times.
Google it, Eric.
I'm working on it.
I have Disney Villainous. They're in the deck. Horace and something.
Jasper. Horace and Jasper. That's it.
Horace and Jasper. And he
I
played
almost had it topped
Jasper.
out. Yes, he played Jasper.
He played Jasper.
Yeah.
Number 7, Kate Middleton. Because, I mean, let's be honest. From everything that I've seen since Princess Diana, she is an absolutely fantastic role model for young women over in Great Britain. And here recently, she has been diagnosed with cancer, and our prayers go out to you with a speedy recovery, and that the treatments that you're undergoing will work.
I have something related with royalty.
That's going to be about the only thing you got related to royalty there, bud.
Yeah, I know.
Number 8, Bo Jackson, because he is an absolute unit, dude. One
Yeah.
of the best running backs in NFL history, and his arm in baseball was an absolute cannon. Dude threw it all the way from the far midfield to home plate with one bounce.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that throw. That was a great throw.
Number 9, Jacksepticeye. Why is he number 9? Because of all the charity work that
Because
he has
it's
done.
Jacksepticeye.
Because he is an absolutely fantastic person on YouTube. He is an absolutely fantastic persona. His I think I don't remember what it's called, but the Jacksepticeye Christmases that he's done,
Yeah.
raising millions of dollars to donate to
Oh, yeah.
charity. Absolutely great things coming out of him, and highly entertaining.
And
Top of the morning to you.
From what I've seen of with like what he does with other YouTubers and what they've said about him, he's an absolute beast of a human being too, like in
Yeah.
person.
And speaking of an absolute beast of a human being, this week's number 10 is Jack Black. If
Yes.
for no other reason than the absolutely fantastic cover of Baby One More Time.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that TikTok I sent you earlier by him being the reincarnation of Dionysus?
Yeah, I did. It's
I can
crazy.
believe it.
He has had some fantastic characters, from School of Rock to being in Tenacious D to
hmm
Poe. Dude, Kung Fu Panda is a monopoly at this point.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's get into this monster list. And up first, we have the Altasaur. So one of the first, it's one of the few dinosaurs that's made it onto the list, because usually dinosaurs in D&D are kind of boring. We made
Well-
it. The T-Rex belonged on the list because, I'm sorry, it's a T-Rex.
It's a T-Rex, yeah.
The Altasaur, on the other hand, that is not a T-Rex.
No, and it's not a normal dinosaur either.
No, it is a gargantuan monstrosity. I see you looking out for me there, bud.
This thing has 8 legs.
It has 8 legs, but that's beside the point. Its tail spikes are taller than the pine tree in the picture.
Yeah. This thing is huge.
It's an AC of 15 with 198 hit points, or you can take the max of 12d10 plus 72 for a max health of 312.
Hold on,
With a
let me
movement
fact check that.
Yeah, go ahead and fact check.
I almost forgot. I didn't have my calculator pulled up.
Facebook fact checkers over here.
312.
Look at that.
You feeling
Get
better this
schooled.
week?
I'm
You
feeling
feeling
a
better
lot
this
better.
week?
I'm feeling so much better, dude. I'm
So
eating
your
solid
math is
foods again.
mathing.
Dude, we just got done eating some fish. Oh, it was so
Oh,
good.
That sounds pretty good.
Movement speed of 40 feet. Has a plus 11 to perception. You wonder why? Well, its neck, it is the definition of the Land Before Time long neck.
This head is probably 250 feet high.
It's got to be.
At least.
Absolutely has to be. With a passive perception of 21. Good
Yeah.
Lord almighty. But don't worry, it can't speak. This creature has magic resistance.
Yes. Dinosaur
Wow.
with magical resistance.
This is insane. So, multi-attack. The Altasaur makes one stomp attack and one tail attack. The Altasaur can't make both attacks against the same target. And we're about to find out why.
Well, I mean,
because
they're
it'd be
2
unfair.
blocks apart.
The stomp, plus 14 to hit with a 10-foot reach. 7d6 plus 9 bludgeoning damage. And if the target is huge or smaller, it must succeed on a DC 22 saving throw or have the prone condition.
You're almost guaranteed to go prone with that.
In other words, you're going prone.
Yeah.
And the tail is a plus 14 to hit, reach of 20 feet, 8d8 plus 9 bludgeoning damage, and the target is pushed up to 20 feet horizontally from the Altasaur. I'm sorry, this thing's tail does the equivalent of a fireball or a lightning bolt plus its strength modifier, which is a 9, by the way. It's got a 28 strength.
Yep. Simple
Luckily
yet
for,
effective.
luckily for us too, its dex is a 6 and its intelligence is a 3. You know, that walnut-sized brain.
Yeah. Of course, compared to that thing, it might be the size of a Volkswagen.
I mean, realistically, it is an awesome creature. It's very cool. Because of the magic resistance, I'll rate it at a 6. I love monstrosities. They're my favorite character. They're my favorite creature class in the game. But there was so much more they could have done with this thing.
There he is. And the way it looks almost elemental.
Oh, it looks like a 10,
But yeah,
but
I could give it a,
it will
I'd give it a
play
6.
like a 6. It
Yeah.
will play like a 6. And
I
that's,
wouldn't
you know,
expect your party to be fighting this. This is more of a set piece.
yeah, this is the mini that you threaten them with
Yeah.
for whenever they're being like Matt Mercer did with Sam when he kept starting. Oh,
Thunk.
baby, how was I supposed to know?
You look out across the wall and you see thunk, and it's this 4-foot mini on the table.
Good Lord Almighty.
And everybody's eyes just get big, and you're like, oh no, you're not fighting him. You just see it.
It's like, hey, wait a minute, Rob. Why'd you drive your extended SUV tonight? Oh, I got a new mini.
I got a
What?
new mini. I wanted to
got a
bring
new
it to show
mini.
you.
Ooh. Next up, we have the Angry Sorrow Sworn. If you
Yep.
can't tell, Eric built this list.
Well, I mean, you like the Saurus one to begin
Oh, the
with.
Sorrow Sworn was great. Perfect.
This
counter
is
to
an
the
angry one.
sorcerer. This is an angrier one. It's got 2 faces to let you know it's twice as angry. It's a medium monstrosity, AC of 18 with 255 hit points, or you can take the max of 30d8 plus 120 for a max health of 360.
Hold on, my calculator did something stupid.
8 times 3 is 24 times plus 100. Yeah, should be 360.
360.
Quick math. Even numbers
Math-
are easy, dude.
Math is mathing for you today.
Yeah, even numbers are easy.
That is true.
Movement speed of 30 feet. Has a plus 11 in perception and is resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing while in dim light or darkness. Dark vision of 60 feet and a passive perception of 21. We're getting into some serious stuff here, dude.
Yeah, it's CR13.
You think it goes up to CR 30. Now, granted, CR 30 is Tiamat
Yeah.
and like an aspect of Bahamut or Bahamut, however you want to say his name. But we're
Dude, I've
getting
heard-
serious at CR 13.
I've heard Bahamut pronounced so many different ways.
Well, we're in the South.
Get that aspect of Bahamut. Bahamut.
Bone and Hammett.
Banhamut.
It has Rising Anger. If another creature deals damage to the Sorrow Sworn's attack rolls have advantage until the end of its next turn. And the first time it hits with a hook attack on its next turn, the attack's target takes an extra 3d12 psychic damage.
Yep.
On its turn, the Sorrow Sworn has disadvantage on attack rolls if no other creature has dealt damage to it since the end of its last turn. Wow.
Yes.
2 heads, the Sorrow Sworn has advantage on saving throws against being blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, stunned, or knocked unconscious, because that's exactly what it needs.
Mm-hmm.
And all it has is the 2 hook attacks. A +8 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d12 plus 3 piercing damage. Aesthetically, this thing is cool.
Yes. And
Aesthetically,
that rise in
this thing
anger
is
makes
very
it
cool.
scary.
Oh, the rising anger makes it terrifying, realistically, because if people don't metagame, right?
Yeah.
If people don't metagame, this would be a fantastic mini boss for an Underdark encounter
yes.
for, like, say, 4 9th level characters.
It's always gonna have advantage.
Oh, yeah. Because they're not going to know not to attack it. If you
Yep.
don't attack it, it has disadvantage. You could just walk away.
Yep.
You can just treat this like the crackhead at the general store on the corner.
Just walk away.
Just don't pay him any attention, and he might go away.
If you
This
don't
is-
look at him, he
okay.
doesn't exist.
Off of that basis alone, this guy is a 7 because he is the literal definition of a D&D crackhead that you want to avoid. He's the crackhead on the corner you want to avoid.
Yeah, I see one at the gas station every now and then.
Oh man,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could go with the 7 for this guy.
I think a 7's a good spot for that guy. Next is one that's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts
A
who
lot of
enjoy
people.
aberrations, and this is one of the few aberrations that I actually do fully enjoy and will happily use in my game. We're talking about the Beholder, one that's been around since AD&D. Maybe not called a Beholder, but this general concept and art style has been around since the start.
I think it's been a beholder ever since.
Yeah, it may have been, it may have not been. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But this is like the one of the cornerstones of
This
Dungeons
is
and
a
Dragons outside of
essential D and
dungeons.
D character.
Yeah,
creation,
outside of
creature.
the dungeons that you traverse and the dragons that you slay, and the Lich and Vecna
Yeah.
and stuff like that, or the Demogorgon. Shout out to Stranger Things. A large aberration, AC of 18, 180 hit points. So you can take the max of 19d10 plus 76 for 266 max health. Math check out.
Math checks out.
I'm on a roll tonight, bud.
3 for 3.
It's got plus 8 to intelligence saves, plus 7 to wisdom, and plus 8 to charisma, plus 12 to perception, and it is immune to being knocked prone because it
it
doesn't have
floats.
legs. Dark vision of 120 feet and a passive perception of 22. And
Yep.
it speaks deep speech and undercommon. Just imagine walking through the Underdark or somewhere like that, and you hear, like, you understand deep speech, and you just hear this thing going in the back. It just comes floating around the corner with its big old giant eyeballs and all the tentacles. Just
Imagine if you don't understand deep speech and you hear that come around the corner.
That'd be a whole lot
It'd be
worse.
even worse.
Really, literally, all you would hear would be the.
Yeah. And you hear that and you expect footprints and then it just floats around with that big eye. Yeah. Brown pants.
Nice to see you today. It's got an anti-magic cone. The beholder's central eye creates an area of anti-magic, as in the anti-magic field spell, in a 150-foot cone.
Yes.
At the start of each of its turns, the beholder decides which way the cone faces and whether the cone is active. The area works against the beholder's own eye rays. Here's the deal. This thing can completely shut down said sorcerer, wizard, warlock, cleric, paladin, ranger, bard, anything
Artificer.
with spellcasting.
Yeah.
I would say Eldritch Knight as well, but realistically, you're still a fighter, so you'll be fine.
I wouldn't say fine, but you could still
Well,
do something.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You won't be countered quite as heavily.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a bit to read, so forgive us, but it's definitely worth covering and putting on the list.
Oh, yeah. This thing is the absolute classic.
It can make a bite attack, plus 5 to hit, 5-foot reach, 4d6 piercing damage. But then come the eye rays. The beholder shoots 3 of the following magical eye rays at random. Reroll the duplicates, choosing 1, 2, 3 targets it can see within 120 feet of it. 1 is the charm ray. The targeted creature must succeed on a DC 16 wisdom saving throw or be charmed by the beholder for 1 hour or until the beholder harms the creature. Paralyzing ray. The target creature must succeed on a DC 16 Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Fear ray. The targeted creature must make a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Slowing ray. The targeted creature must succeed on a DC 16 Dexterity saving throw On a failed save, the target speed is halved for 1 minute. In addition, the creature can't take reactions, and it can take either an action, a bonus action, or a bonus action on its turn, not both. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. So it's got slow,
Yeah.
possibly every turn.
Yeah, because it's rolled at random.
Innervation Ray. The targeted creature must make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw, taking 8d8 necrotic damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Telekinetic Ray. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 16 strength saving throw, or the beholder moves it up to 30 feet in any direction. It is restrained by the Ray's telekinetic grip until the start of the beholder's next turn or until the beholder is incapacitated. If the target is an object weighing 300 pounds or less that isn't being worn or carried, it is moved up to 30 feet in any direction. The beholder can also exert fine control on objects with this ray, such as manipulating a simple tool or opening a door or a container. Sleep Ray. The targeted creature must succeed on a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw or fall asleep and remain unconscious for 1 minute. The target awakens if it takes damage or another creature takes an action to wake it. This ray has no effect on constructs and undead. Petrification Ray. The targeted creature must make a DC 16 Dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature begins to turn to stone and is restrained. It must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn. On a success, the effect ends. On a failure, the creature is petrified until freed by the Greater Restoration spell or other magic.
Yeah.
Disintegration Ray. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 16 Dexterity saving throw or take 10d8 force damage. If this damage reduces the creature to 0 hit points, its body becomes a pile of fine gray dust. If the target is a large or smaller non-magical object or creature of magical force, it is disintegrated without a saving throw. Death Ray. The targeted creature must succeed on a DC 16 Dexterity saving throw or take 10d10 necrotic damage. The target dies if the ray reduces it to 0 hit points.
Death.
Straight death. Permadeath, more like. This
Yeah.
is. The Beholder is an absolute joy to run as a DM. Let me go ahead
Oh,
and
I
tell you
bet
this.
so.
I have ran a Beholder before. It is an absolute joy to run a Beholder. And it's fun to fight a Beholder because you don't
It
know
is.
what it's
Yeah,
going
it
to do.
is pretty
You
fun.
know what it's capable of, but because the 3 eye rays are random, you don't know what to expect. It also has legendary actions. And its legendary action is eye ray. The Beholder uses 1 random eye ray. It also has layer actions and regional effects, but we will not go over them because we will try to keep this episode somewhat close to our usual runtime.
Yeah, we need to write a book for all that.
Yeah. I will say, though, don't go close to a Beholder layer.
Yes, please. You will die,
Just,
or somebody will die.
yeah, just don't go near it.
Yeah.
The Beholder's a 10, dude. It's an
Yeah.
absolute 10.
And
It's always been a 10. It will always be a 10.
it would never be anywhere else but a 10.
Except for the undead version we covered.
Well, yeah. But that's
It
not
just
just
wasn't
a
as
straight
good.
beholder. Yeah.
If you're going to Now, this is my thinking. If you're going to give something like a Beholder a different version and call it a vampiric Beholder or an undead Beholder, make it just as powerful, if not more.
Yeah.
You know? Next up, we have the Gravekeeper. Oh, no.
Hmm.
Mine doesn't have the Gravekeeper on here.
I bet you've got something
Let me
not
see if I can.
checked.
Let me see if I've got. all this. Check. There it is. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh no. What have you pulled up on my screen, Eric?
Well, it's basically another beholder.
That's disgusting.
I mean, it's an aberration.
Mm.
I know you don't like aberrations, but there's one.
Well, ugh. That's just nasty. It's a large aberration, AC of 18, 210 health, or you can take the max of 20d10 plus 100 for a max health of 300.
All right, let me fact check that.
It's okay. It's 0 movement speed, but a flying speed of 30 feet with hover. Plus 10 to Constitution and Charisma saving throws, and plus 8 to Wisdom, with a plus 13 to Perception. True sight of 120 feet with a
Yeah.
passive perception of 23.
I mean, he's got true sight.
Dazzling illumination.
Illumination.
The Gravekeeper projects a brilliant corona. Oh no. Now we figured out where it came from. The Gravekeeper projects a brilliant corona of light, which sheds bright light to a range of 60 feet and causes attack rolls against it to have disadvantage. If it's hit by an attack, this trait is disrupted until the end of its next turn. The trait is also disrupted while the Gravekeeper is incapacitated or has a speed of 0. It also has 3 uses of legendary resistance. As an action, slam, plus 9 to hit, 10-foot reach, 4d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage, plus 3d6 necrotic. And lantern blast. You must just like hearing me talk tonight.
Well, I know. I figured you'd be feeling better. Why not? Let me make you talk for a little bit.
Fair. Magical Octarine. Octarine? What kind of word is that? Magical Octarine beams flash from the Gravekeeper's many lanterns. Each beam has a different power. Each creature within 120 feet of the Gravekeeper who is not behind total cover rolls a d6 to determine which color ray affects it. Oh, this is random to the player.
Yes. The
The
player
DC
randomizes this.
The DC for the saving throw is 18. Okay, strap in. Hold on to your butts. Dispelling Blast. The targeted creature must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or takes 10d6 psychic damage in any spell or magical effect upon the target ends. A creature who fails this saving throw has their concentration broken on any spell they were actively maintaining.
Yep.
Forceful Blast. The targeted creature must succeed on a strength saving throw or take 10d6 force damage and be pushed 20 feet away and knocked prone. Blinding Blast. The target must succeed on a constitution saving throw or take 10d6 radiant damage and be blinded for 1 minute. A blinded creature can repeat the saving throw on each of its turns, ending the effect on itself. Contaminating Blast. I'm going to have to look at this. The targeted creature must succeed on a constitution saving throw or take 10d6 necrotic damage and gain 1 level of contamination. Now, what is contamination? Well, let's find out. A contaminated creature suffers from the symptoms of its current level as well as all lower levels. I'm figuring this is something out of Grim Hollow, right? I think it is. Because, yeah, I think it's something out of Grim Hollow. At level 1, none. At level 2, hit points regained by expending hit dice are halved. At level 3, no hit points regained at the end of a long rest.
Yeah.
4, damage dealt by weapon attacks and spells are halved. 5, you're incapacitated. And 6, monstrous transformation. Now, what's monstrous transformation? A creature who reaches contamination level 6 or higher triggers a transformation into a horrific monster controlled by the game master. Once triggered, the transformation finishes in one round. It is thereafter permanent. Game masters are encouraged to narrate a subtly gory description of the transformation. It is often an aberration or monstrosity of some kind, such as a delirium dreg, haze hulk, or gibbering mouther. What is a gibbering mouther?
Down the rabbit hole he goes.
Oh, it's a challenge too. You become very weak, but you become an aberration that's literally nothing but eyes and mouths.
Hmm.
Think Carnage, but just mouths.
This Grave Lord, Gravekeeper, is out
Yeah.
of Dungeons of Drakkenheim.
Oh, okay. Igniting Blast. The targeted creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 10d6 fire damage and catches fire.
Yep.
Until someone takes an action to douse the fire, the target takes 10d6 fire damage at the start of each of his turns. You take 10d6 fire damage. Now stop, drop, and roll.
It's like you look over your cover and see a light and spontaneously combust.
Oh, dang. Dexter's laboratory. My head is on fire. My head is on fire.
Pretty much.
Freezing Blast. The targeted creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 10d6 cold damage, and it can't take a reaction until the end of its next turn. Moreover, on its next turn, it should choose whether it gets a move, an action, or a bonus action. It only gets one of the three. On a successful save, the target takes half as much damage and suffers none of the blast's other effects.
Take cold damage, get slowed.
This dude is stupid.
Yes.
And it's got legendary actions. It makes a slam. It can glide by moving its speed without provoking opportunity attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Or by expending 3 actions, it uses its Lantern Blast.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Each creature within 120 feet of the Gravekeeper who's not behind total cover. That's insane.
Yep.
I like it. This
You
guy's
like an aberration?
though I like this guy. I like
Well-
the Beholder too, dude.
Well, the Beholder everybody likes. Let me check my pulse. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. You actually really like an aberration.
I really like. Well, think the what was it? The shadow. Oh God, the Ring Wraith. The one
Oh,
I
yeah,
lost
yeah.
my absolute mind over.
Yeah.
It's
I
an
know what you-
aberration.
Yeah, that is true.
Shadow horror. Yeah, the shadow horror.
Yeah.
This guy's a 10. It is an absolute 10. It is up there with the Beholder.
Yeah, he is another Beholder. He is a Beholder in a graveyard.
He's a Beholder on freaking steroids.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it'd be any worse than fighting a Beholder.
Like this dude. Oh no, it'd be worse. It'd be a lot worse. The Beholder, you have a chance. You have 3 chances. Okay, out of how many? 10. Let me check that.
Yeah, it's 10 on the Beholder.
Okay, there are 3 rolls: the Death Ray, the Disintegration Ray, and the Innervation Ray.
No, hold on. This thing is worse. Because the Beholder only does 3 beams. This, every creature.
Yes, that's
Has
what
to
I
make a
just
roll.
read.
Oh, I didn't read that fully, but first.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Not only that, but when you roll your D10 or whatever to see what the
D6.
Beholder's going to do.
No, the Beholder
the
rolls
Beholder.
a D10.
Yeah, when you roll your D10 as a DM to see what your Beholder is going to do, there's a 3 out of 10 chance that you're going to do damage to somebody. Maybe
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think
but-
Petrified would be worse than taking damage.
You say that until you take 10d6 damage and are lit on fire at the start of your next turn. You take another 10d6 damage.
Yeah, this
It's
thing
like
is
take 10d6 damage, and you're on fire.
and combust.
That's uncalled for.
He's got super heat metal. Heat anything.
Next up is the Jabberwock, one of the nerd. This looks like a wizard dragon. He looks like a straight up.
This
geek.
is from Alice in Wonderland.
He looks like a nerd.
He does.
He looks like an absolute dweeb.
He got them big glasses on.
Like the Jabberwock is a freaking goober. What a goober. It's a huge dragon. You wouldn't think it from the picture, but God, look at it looks like he's wearing bifocals.
He's got them Coke bottle glasses on.
No, it's worse than Coke bottles. That's an entire windshield. That's the lens off of the Hubble Space Telescope. Dude's over here looking at Mars. That's why he looks so surprised.
Mom, get the camera!
Oh no. AC of 18, 115 health, or you can take the max of 10d12 plus 50 for 170.
Checks
30
out.
foot movement, 30-foot movement speed, 30-foot climb speed, 30-foot fly speed, and 30-foot swim speed. Well, at least he's athletic.
Yeah,
He's a
athletic
straight
nerd.
he's a straight A athlete.
Not
Plus
many of those.
10. No. Plus 10 to strength and con saves, plus 6 to dexterity, plus 2 to intelligence, 3 to wisdom, and 5 to charisma. And plus 8 to perception. Did you catch the fact that he's got a plus to all of his saving throws?
Yeah.
He's proficient in all saving throws.
Yep. Even though he's got a 4 intelligence.
Yeah, he still gets a plus 2, which shows you exactly how much he's getting.
Yeah.
Because that pretty much takes his 4 intelligence. And when it comes to a saving throw, he's got the equivalent of a 13 or 14. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He is vulnerable to slashing damage from a Vorpal sword
Mm-hmm.
and immune to poison. Immune to charmed, frightened, and poisoned. True sight of 120 feet. I would freaking hope so. Look at the
eyeballs on that thing.
It makes me think of Phil from the Hercules.
Don't get distracted by a pair of big goo eyes.
That's the goo goo eyes.
Passive perception of 18. You know, in The Mask, when he first sees Cameron Diaz and his eyes just like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is this dragon. How's he like? What's he doing with teeth that look like they belong in a rodent?
Maybe
He's
he's
got
a
the
giant
SpongeBob
rodent
teeth.
dragon. Yes, he does. Top and bottom.
Be sitting there. Oh, confusing burble. The Jabberwock burbles to itself unless it is incapacitated. It's so lonely it talks to itself. It has no friends.
I mean, look at the face on the face only a mother could love.
Hey guys, you want to come over and hang out? My mom said we could play Fortnite.
Oh, any creature that starts its turn within 30 feet of the Jabberwock is able to hear its burbling must make a DC 18 charisma saving throw. On a failed saving throw, the creature can't take reactions until the start of its next turn, and it rolls a d4 to determine what it does during its current turn. 1 or 2, the creature does nothing. 3, the creature does nothing except use all of its movement to move in a random direction. 4, the creature either makes one melee attack against a random creature it can see or does nothing, if no visible creature is within its reach. And it's got 3 legendary resistances. It's got regeneration, and it's uncanny tracker. The Jabberwock is unerringly track any creature it has wounded in the last 24 hours, and it knows the distance and direction to its quarry as long as the two of them are on the same plane of existence.
Oh, it's got a different regeneration. It's not fire damage, it's slashing damage.
Yeah, that will go into the Vorpal sword thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Multi-attack, the Jabberwock makes 2 rend attacks. Plus 10 to hit, 10-foot reach, 3d10 plus 5 slashing damage. Its tail is a plus 10 to hit, 15-foot reach, 1d10 plus 5 bludgeoning damage. Fiery Gaze, recharge of 5 to 6. Unless it is blinded, the Jabberwock emits a 120-foot long, 5-foot wide of fire from its eyes. Each creature in that line must make a DC 18 dexterity saving throw or take 7d8 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one.
So that's what those eyes are. They're focal lenses,
Yeah, he
like a
does you like
magnifying
we.
glass.
Yeah, he does you like we used to do ants as a kid with a magnifying glass. He's just
burn, you little bastard.
and it's got legendary actions. Tail attack, it takes 1 tail attack. With 2 actions, it can make a rend attack, and with 3 actions, it can do the dragon's wing attack, where it beats its wings, and each creature within 10 feet of the Jabberwock must succeed on a DC 18 dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 plus 5 bludgeoning damage and be knocked prone.
Yep.
I've made fun of it so much that now I kind of like it.
I mean, it's
I want to put one of these guys in my game, but have him be friendly to where I can talk to you guys as him.
oh, please do, please. I want to hear
Like, hey
everybody
man,
else
what's
crack up.
like, hey man, what's your name? My name's Seth. Seth?
Yes, that's my name.
What are you doing here?
Zeb.
Just go full
He
Beetlejuice.
just starts burbling.
Just hanging around. Just work on my Beetlejuice impression.
Oh Lord.
Oh man, this guy realistically, honestly, the confusing burble saved it.
Yeah.
The confusing burble saved
Other
it
than that, it's
because
basically a regular dragon.
without that, without the confusing burble, I would say that this dragon, the Jabberwock, is only about a 6 or so. However, with the confusing burble, I'll give it a 7,
Yeah, I was gonna say about a 7, maybe an 8.
maybe an 8. If it's talking to you and friendly,
Like, guys. I see something over in the distance over there. It's something worth checking out. I promise you that much. We gotta go.
it's an 8.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Kebolar Demodad. Kelubar. Okay. Kelubar Demodad. It is a medium fiend. AC of 18, 187 hit points, or you can take the max of 22d8 plus 88, which will come up to, 176 plus 88 would be 264. You can check that whenever you're ready. 30-foot movement speed or a flying speed of 60. Plus 6 to dexterity and plus 7 to wisdom. Plus 7 to insight. Resistant to cold and fire and immune to acid and poison. Do you want to check that math?
Yeah, what'd you say it was?
264.
You are correct, my good sir.
Hey, I'm what? 5 for 5?
You are 6 for 6.
Hey, I'm on a roll. Yeah. Immune to paralyzed, poisoned, restrained. Dark vision of 120 feet and a passive perception of 12. And it speaks abyssal, and demodand with a telepathy of 120 feet. Acid secretions. A creature that touches the Kelubar or hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet of it takes 2d4 acid damage. Boundless movement. The Kelubar ignores difficult terrain and magical effects can't reduce its speed. It can spend 5 feet of movement to automatically remove the grapple condition from itself. Magic resistance. The Kelubar has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. It also makes 2 bite attacks. The bite is a plus 11 to hit, 5-foot reach, 1d10 plus 6 piercing damage, plus 4d8 acid damage. That's really good damage from the
It
bite.
is really good.
Oh, and it's got spellcasting. And the spell save DCs are a 17. At will, invisibility on itself only. One time each per day. Dispel magic and scrying. What? Why does it have scrying?
It's a demon. Why not?
That's stupid. Spit acid. The Kelubar spits acid in a line 60 feet long and 5 feet wide. Each creature in that area must make a DC 17 dexterity saving throw or take 68 acid damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Also, he's just a southern guy that dips tobacco.
Yeah, pretty much.
And summon Dimmadand one time per day. The Kelubar has a 40% chance of summoning its choice of 1d2 Farastu Dimmadans or 1 Kelubar Dimmadand. A summoned Dimmadand appears in an unoccupied space within 60 feet of the Kelubar. And it's around until for 1 minute until it or the Kelubar dies or until the Kelubar dismisses it as an action. As a bonus action, though, Nauseating Fog with a recharge of 6. The Kelubar magically creates a cloud of greenish fog that fills a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point within 120 feet of itself. The cloud remains for 1 minute or until the Kelubar uses a bonus action again. The cloud is heavily obscured and difficult terrain. Any creature that starts its turn in the cloud or enters the cloud for the first time on a turn must succeed on a DC 17 Constitution saving throw or have the poison condition until the end of its next turn.
This is a frog demon, basically.
That's kind of interesting. That's actually really interesting. I think this guy would probably rank around the 7. He's not overly cool.
Yeah.
He's as far as a DM using him in combat, like I would see him being useful as a tool for a DM to use. I don't think he'd be the only thing you're fighting. I think
no,
this would
he
be
wouldn't
for
be
like
the only one.
For a higher level encounter, and he's following the command of somebody else.
Yeah.
And he's just there to cause problems.
Oh, he's definitely a problem cause.
I think 7 is a good hold for him.
Yeah.
Next up, as Tax shakes himself off.
Well, it kind of makes sense because this is a werewolf of sorts.
Yeah, Tack, you have seen a picture of your relatives.
They both have brown fur.
Yeah, they're both canines.
Except Tack has those sweet eyes that would do no harm to anybody.
That and this guy has an intelligence of 14, and Tack's lucky to have a 1.
True.
Medium monstrosity, 16 AC, 170 health, or you can take the max of 20d8 plus 80 for a max health of 240. Movement speed of 30, 40 foot in hybrid form, and 50 foot in direwolf form. Plus 9 to dexterity and constitution saving throws, and plus 8 to charisma. Plus 13 to perception, and plus 9 to stealth. Immune to charmed and frightened. Dark vision of 120 feet, and a passive perception of 23. We're back to the passive perceptions of 23. But
yes.
It makes sense because this is like a werewolf hybrid.
This is a legendary werewolf.
Makes sense. I really like werewolves. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I do too.
That's the one thing that I want to play in D&D is a werewolf. Blood
the one I shortly played for a while was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, but I'm sorry, dude. Like the Harry Potter transformation for a werewolf, that's not a werewolf. That's a were-rat.
Yeah.
That's a rat walking on its hind legs. It's freaking what's his name from the Rampage?
Oh yes. Oh,
not Ralph.
I know
Ralph
who you're
the
talking
lizard.
about.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, look at the mouse's name. The freaking giant rat.
Rhett.
Rhett?
Rhett The Rhett the Rat. Yes.
Oh, Rhett McLaughlin.
I wouldn't call him a rat, but yeah.
No, he's not a rat, but the giant rat. No,
Yes.
you want a good looking and awesome and intimidating werewolf transformation. Look no further than Hugh Jackman and Kate
Oh,
Beckinsale
yes.
in Van Helsing.
That was a great movie.
That is the vampire. That is the werewolf transformation that I
Even the
want.
vampire transformations was amazing.
Oh yeah, they were great. Blood Frenzy. The Loup Garou has advantage on attack rolls against a creature that doesn't have all of its hit points. Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
It has 2 uses per day of legendary resistance, and it has regeneration unless it has taken damage from a silvered weapon.
Makes sense.
Multi attack. The Loup Garou, Gorals makes 2 attacks. 2 with its longsword in humanoid form, or 1 with its bite and 1 with its claws in direwolf or hybrid form. The bite, +9 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d8 plus 4 piercing damage, and 4d6 necrotic damage. If the target is a humanoid, it must succeed on a DC 17 Constitution saving throw or be cursed with the Loup Garou lycanthropy.
Now, all I can see,
Specifically, Loup Garou. Oh,
all I can see is Gru's nose being the snout of a werewolf.
Gordles.
Girls.
Gordles. Claws. Direwolf for hybrid form only. +9 to hit, 5-foot reach. 2d6 plus 4 slashing damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 17 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. You realize Potato Candy is coming to do a CR list with us in the next couple of recordings for this,
Yes.
and we're going to chase them away because we're a couple of idiots.
They've already done a few recordings with us.
Yeah,
That'd be
you're
fun.
right. They actually kind of like us.
Don't know why, but yeah.
Longsword, humanoid form only. +9 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d8 plus 4 slashing damage, or 2d10 plus 4 slashing damage if used with both hands. And it can change shape as a bonus action. So it polymorphs into a large wolf humanoid hybrid or into a large dire wolf,
Yep.
or back to its original form. Legendary actions. Swipe. It makes 1 claw attack or 1 longsword attack, depending on what form it's in. Mauling Pounce costs 2 actions. The Loup Garou Gorals moves up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and it can make 1 claw attack or 1 longsword attack against each creature it moves past.
Oh.
Ooh. And bite for 3 actions. The Loup Garou changes into hybrid or direwolf form and then makes 1 bite attack. It's a 10.
Yeah.
It's a 10. Because
It is-
it actually does kind of resemble the transformation that you get from Van Helsing.
It does.
Slightly. It's not quite as well. You can't really tell because it looks more like a. How do I explain this? It looks kind of more like a Viking version.
With the braided hair and stuff. And
Yeah.
its mouth looks like a werebear almost.
Oh yeah, it's got some serious canines on the bottom.
But yeah, this
Serious.
is a deadlier variant of a werewolf. The
And
werewolf.
it is fantastic. It is a 10.
It is a 10. Lots of 10s on this list.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, dude. We're going to be going into these higher monsters. They're all going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Next up is the Nars Ugon. Medium Fiend. Armor class of 20. Hit points of 112, or you can take the max of 15d8 plus 45 for a max health of 190.
You sure about that?
Yep.
Nope. 165. You finally missed one.
No. Oh well.
It's okay.
30-foot movement speed. +5 to dex saves, +8 to con, and +9 to charisma. +12 to perception. And resistant to acid, cold, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Immune to fire and poison. Immune to charmed, frightened, and poisoned. Dark vision of 120 feet and passive perception of 22. What's up with the passive perceptions?
I mean, they're all strong creatures.
They're just like screw the rogue, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Infernal tack. The Narzugon wears spurs that are part of infernal tack, which allows it to summon its nightmare companion as an action.
Yes.
We have found Sam Elliott riding his nightmare.
This is Sam Elliott.
And it's got magic resistance. The Narzugon makes 3 Hellfire Lance attacks. It also uses Infernal Command or Terrifying Command. Hellfire Lance, +10 to hit, 10-foot reach, 1d12 +5 piercing damage, plus 3d10 fire damage. If this damage kills a creature with a soul, the soul rises from the river Styx as a lemur in Avarice in 1d4 hours. It's a medium fiend with a whopping 13 hit points. If the creature isn't revived before then, only a wish spell or killing the lemur and casting true resurrection on the creature's original body can restore it to life. Constructs and devils are immune to this effect. So this can affect undead.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Infernal Command. Each ally of the Narzugon within 60 feet of it can't be charmed or frightened until the end of the Narzugon's next turn. Terrifying Command. Each creature within 60 feet of the Narzugon that isn't a fiend must make a DC 17 Charisma saving throw or become frightened of the Narzugon for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. A creature that makes a successful save against this throw is immune to the Narzugon's Terrifying Command for 24 hours. And 1 time per day, the Narzugon, or one creature it touches, regains 100 hit points.
Yep.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think you. 100 hit points!
You said 10?
Yeah. This isn't so much cool. That's just stupid. That's just uncalled for.
Now, I really like the flavor text in its Hellfire Lance about the river Styx.
Oh, me too. That makes it awesome. The fact that it has a nightmare mount
Yeah.
makes it a 10.
As an action. Just, come on.
Because think of how much fun you could have with this guy running it as a DM.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of what we're basing it off of. It's not only what it's capable of, but how much fun you can have running it. Because the
playing
DM
against
has to have fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, the DM has to have fun. Or they lose
interest.
the joy of the game, and then the game goes downhill like we've both seen before. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sucks to see that happen. It really does.
It
especially
does.
in a game that was going very well.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Spectral Cloud. Huge undead, AC of 11.
Easy to
189 health. Or you can take the max of 18 D12 plus 72. I ain't even going to try on that one, bud. I think it's going to be somewhere around, let's see, be like 214 plus 72, 286.
288.
Dadgummit!
You almost had it.
Ah, shut up, Eric.
Closer than the last one.
Antagonizing me.
Yes. That's what friends are for.
+6 to dex saves, +8 to charisma, +8 to perception, resistant to cold, necrotic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and from non-magical attacks. Immune to poison and thunder. Condition immunities are charmed, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, and restrained. Has a passive perception of 18, and it knows common and giant. Blurred form. Attack rolls against the spectral cloud are made with disadvantage unless the attacker is within 13 feet of the spectral cloud or the spectral cloud is incapacitated. Incorporeal movement. The spectral cloud can move from one creature through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. It takes 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. The spectral cloud makes 2 spectral touch attacks. Plus 12 to hit, 10-foot reach, 3d8 plus 7 force damage, plus 3d6 necrotic damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 20 Constitution saving throw or have its hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken. Ooh. This reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. The target dies if the hit point maximum is reduced to 0. A humanoid slain by this attack immediately rises as a miniature spectral cloud. Use the Spectre stat block in the monster manual. The miniature spectral cloud acts as an ally of the creator, but isn't under its control. Chilling winds, recharge of 5 to 6. The spectral cloud emits intensely cold wind in a 60-foot line that is 10 feet wide. Each creature in the area must make a DC 20 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 7d10 cold damage and has the incapacitated condition for 1 minute. The affected creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage only. If a creature saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, that creature is immune to the spectral cloud's chilling winds for the next 24 hours.
I just think it's cool because it makes mini clouds.
Yeah, that does make it cool, but it doesn't make it any cooler than a 5.
That is, I mean, yeah, it is
This is
low, but
the I don't want to use the word weak because it's not a weak monster, but as far as like the cool factor, it's the weakest monster we've covered in like 3 episodes.
you gotta have one every now and then.
Yeah, you do have to have one every now and then. Eventually, we're going to run into another number 3 or something like that.
I mean, I would like to fight one of these just to fight it.
Well, yeah, it'd be interesting.
It'd be
But
an interesting.
it's just realistically, I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think I'd put it into my game because I don't think I'd have much. It just, it's not really doing it for me.
Well, it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit in your game really,
Well, yeah, well,
Unless-
it kind of would.
unless you made this like the Dragon Priest or something.
Oh no, I've got something homebrewed and a whole lot worse than the Dragon Priest, buddy. Don't you worry about that.
No, this could be the Dragon Priest.
Too late. Too late. Next up, we have the Young Purple Worm. Eric,
Another
would you like to
classic.
cover this one for me, sir?
It's another classic in the D&D lore and
Absolutely.
from years and years. Yeah, it has a armor class of 18, hit points of 184 or 15d20 plus 90. You want to make a guess?
15d20,
Yeah.
390 health.
Yep.
I told you, even numbers are even. You start
Yes.
throwing those 18d12 plus 88.
It's got a plus 11 con, plus 4 wisdom. Has blind sight up to 30 feet. Tremor
Well, it's
sense
also-
up to 60.
It's also got a movement speed of 50 feet and a burrow speed of 30.
That should be. The
That
opposite,
should be
I think.
swapped. I
Yeah.
think.
Passive perception of 9. There's your low perception.
Finally.
It has
However many monsters
tunneler.
later.
That'll be the only one. It has tunneler. The worm can burrow through solid rock at half its burrow speed and leaves a 10-foot diameter hole. Okay. It's not
It's
a
big worm.
it's not a sandworm from Doom, I tell you that. It is a
I
big
like
worm,
how
though.
the young purple worm is still a gargantuan.
Well, yeah,
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, it's massive.
That's got me wondering. You know these minis that you've seen for a purple worm, they can't be accurate.
They would have
I
to
wonder
be
I wonder if
young.
people are using young purple worms in the place of a purple worm because gargantuan is gargantuan. Because as Tack is letting us know, that's loopy.
That is loopy. I'm gonna beat a dog in a minute.
Nah, he's helping out.
No, he knows I'm doing something, so he tries to irritate me. This stupid ball. When I go to bed, he comes up to me and starts squeaking it right in my face.
Nice.
I'm gonna beat him.
But yeah, I got a feeling that if you had an accurate representation of a purple worm on your table, it would be. I know gargantuan is gargantuan, but it would be a bigger version of gargantuan.
It would have
Y-
to be the entire table for the
Yeah,
mouth.
pretty much. Think, gosh, what was that monster in Monster Hunter? The huge one, Monster
Oh
Hunter.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What was it? Monster Hunter 3,
I
where you
can't
were on
think
the
back.
sand. It was the sand dragon
Yeah, I
worm
can't think
thing.
back that far right now. A
What?
sandworm from Dune is smaller than an adult purple worm.
Yeah, realistically, it is because I'm sorry if the young is still gargantuan, the full grown has to be like
I would say a
gargantuan
young
times two.
is almost as big as a sandworm from Dune.
Yeah,
Okay. It
that's
has
kind of
multi
insane.
attack. Yeah, it is. It makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its stinger. Imagine the size of that stinger.
I don't want to.
Its bite is plus 14 to hit, reach of 10 feet, does 3d8 plus 9 piercing damage. If the target is large or smaller, it must make a DC 19 dexterity saving throw or be swallowed. Swallowed creature is blinded and restrained. It has total cover against attacks. Who would have thought? Uh, and it takes an additional 6d6 acid damage at the start of each of the worm's turns.
That's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage. If the worm takes 30 damage or more in a single turn from a creature inside it, the worm must make a DC 21 con save, throw up saving throw at the end of the turn, or regurgitate all swallowed creatures and fall prone.
If I'm not mistaken, 66 is the equivalent of a what level is Melf's Acid Arrow? Is that a first or second level spell?
It's not first. It's either second or
That
third.
I think that might be the equivalent of a upcast by 2 levels Melf's Acid Arrow.
I think sounds about right. Yeah,
That's a good bit of damage.
yeah. And when the creature is regurgitated, it is can take escape from the corpse by using 20 feet of movement, exiting prone. So it crawls out basically.
See, that's not the problem. What's next is
Yeah, the stinger, 14 to hit, reach of 10 feet, 3d6 plus 9 piercing damage, and the target must make a DC 19 con save, taking 12d6 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful save. Yeah,
yeah.
12d6. That is a lot of
Yeah.
damage.
There's a reason that purple worm venom or poison, whichever way it's worded in the items of D&D is a
Oh
thing.
yeah,
And it is considered if I'm not mistaken, a legendary item. Let me look that up.
I think so.
Purple worm poison is it's technically not a damage. It's not an item with a rarity thing on it, but its cost is 2,000 gold pieces,
Yeah, you have
and it
to you
must be
buy it
harvested,
and coat your weapons in it.
and it has to be harvested from a dead or incapacitated worm. but the injury poison can be applied to weapons, ammunition, trap components, and other objects that deal piercing or slashing damage, and it still does the 12d6 poison damage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cornerstone, but I think it's only a 9. I don't
Yeah.
think I can give it a 10.
If it was the adult, I would give it a 10, but the young, it's a 9.
Yeah. Lastly, is a dragon type that you will see in my game.
Yeah.
And I had this planned 2 years ago when I first restarted my campaign. We're talking about the young red shadow dragon. It's a large dragon, 18 AC, 178 health, or you can take the max of 16 D10 plus 85 for 255 max health. Movement speed of 40, climb speed of 40, and flying speed of 80. Excuse me. Dexterity and wisdom saves are plus 5, plus 10 to con, and plus 9 to charisma. Plus 10 to perception and plus 10 to stealth. Resistant to necrotic, immune to fire. Blind sight of 30 feet, dark vision of 120, and a passive perception of 18. And it knows common and draconic. Living shadow. While in dim light or darkness, the dragon has resistance to damage that isn't force, psychic, or radiant. Shadow stealth. While in dim light or darkness, the dragon can take the hide action as a bonus action. And it has sunlight sensitivity. Multi-attack. The dragon makes 3 attacks. 1 with its bite and 2 with its claws. The bite is a plus 11 to hit, 10-foot reach, 2d10 plus 6 piercing damage, plus 1d6 necrotic damage. Not that bad. The claw, plus 11 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d6 plus 6 slashing damage. Once again, not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow breath. Recharge of 5 to 6. The dragon exhales shadowy fire in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a DC 18 dexterity saving throw, taking 16 d6 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. A humanoid that is reduced to 0 hit points by this damage dies, and an undead shadow rises from its corpse and acts immediately after the dragon in initiative count. The shadow is under the dragon's control. Now, it's got a little box here for customizing your dragon. It says that most dragons are proficient in perception and stealth. Also, you can give them spells as a variant. You can also give them damage absorption, flyby, mimicry, rejuvenation, special senses like blind sight, dark vision, upgrade blind sight to true sight. Oh, and there's also the variant to where most saves at this level is going to be a save DC of 17 and a plus 9 to spell attacks, and usually have a spell list from druids or warlocks. So you're looking at spells like Bane, Heat Metal, Hypnotic Pattern, and Suggestion. Can you imagine having a dragon that you're facing and it has Suggestion?
I mean, it would make sense, but I would be scared.
Oh, it'd be terrifying. Now, there's also where you have dragons as innate spellcasters with what would be considered, I guess, the charisma modifier. That would be more like a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's giving it Fireball, Scorching Ray, Haste, Erupting Earth, and Agonizer's Scorcher. There are so many things that you can do with dragons in the game of Dungeons and Dragons that it truly makes them one of the funnest creatures to run as a DM and one of the funnest to fight as a player.
They are very fun to fight.
And for that reason, a dragon will always, like a full-blown dragon, not like the Jabberwock,
Yeah, not the
but a full-blown dragon. Not freaking Steve Urkel over there. The full-blown dragons will always be a 10.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode and listening to everything that we've been releasing so far. It means a lot to us. We are in the middle of playtesting Daggerheart right now. So we will have a full review coming your way of our thoughts, what two idiots and their two friends think of the new TTRPG from Darrington Press very soon, within the next month or so, as we're going to play test a few more times and go over everything in as much depth as we can.
And I will say it's fun, but it's interesting so far.
It's fun, it's interesting, but there's a couple of drawbacks we found, and we'll go over those when we
Yeah,
do our review. Next week, believe is going to be Warlock Part 2.
I think so.
So also, sometime soon, I believe it's going to be CR15 is when we will be having Potato Candy join us,
Hmm.
and we will be doing a big list of about 15 monsters, and we will be going over them with Potato Candy Network. So be sure to check that one out, as well as Casey and Marie are honestly good friends of ours in the podcast world, and they deserve your love and attention just as much, if not more, than we do. So be sure to head over to potatocandynetwork.com and check out Blank Scenario and Dreadful Tales, because they do absolutely great things over there. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. Keep rolling high, and we'll see you in the next one.